The ongoing practice really is recognizing that we're all struggling with this individual identity that resists wanting to merge into the oneness of love. And that manifests as fear. And so the ongoing practice to me is letting go of fear. And it's a tricky thing to do because the human mind is constantly saying to us, if I'm not frightened, you're not safe. That's our mind talking to us. I need to be frightened so you be safe. And recognizing that the human mind can't create safety. The creation of nuclear bombs was an effort to be safe. Now you could say, well, we've had them now for over 50 years and there's never been a nuclear war. But isn't that quite insane? That we've come to the point where we had to have these weapons of mass destruction that theoretically we could never use because they were so horrifying, but they're creations of the human mind and creations of human fear. Like I better have a bigger, badder bomb than you have, so then we'll both not use our bombs. But now we've got new things happening on the planet where the degree of fear that people are experiencing is causing them to actually consider using those weapons. Well, I think you have to take a look at that and say, is there any evidence to show that more fear is going to heal this situation? I've never seen it. I only see that love heals. So the thought that we're going to create bigger and badder weapons, or we're going to go to war with one another in order to feel safe, it's not going to work. There'll be no way to ever feel safe doing that. So I think that the ongoing practice is to see those tendencies in our own minds. We all have them, and they're just thoughts. We don't have to act on them. Every human being has hostile thoughts and greedy thoughts and lustful thoughts and, selfish thoughts and you name it, violent thoughts. They're just thoughts. We don't have to act on them. The Dalai Lama was asked, do you have the kinds of thoughts that other human beings have? He always says, yes. He said, I just have learned not to pay any attention to them, or not to act on them, not to take them seriously. So the practice then is another statement from a man named Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, who was a great Tibetan teacher. He was asked by Pema Chodron, who was a student of his, what enlightenment is. And his answer was very simple. He said, enlightenment is absolute fearlessness. Now, how do you cultivate absolute fearlessness? And how do you stop fearing fearlessness? Because you're going to think, I won't be safe if I don't have fear. Fear is something very different from prudence and, cautiousness and alertness. You can have all of those things without being frightened. You can act to take care of your loved ones without being fearful. Because when you get fearful, you get irrational and heartless. And when you get fearful, you're capable of anything, generally not anything good. So you can simplify it to say that this path, this ongoing effort to awaken, to take the lessons of things like 9/11 and deepen them in our lives, is to continually look at the places where we get caught in fear and figure out how to let that go. Fear is one of the most destructive states for people to get into. It actually creates disease, and it worsens disease. So that one of the paths to healing is to let go of your fear of whatever this is that's happening. Not so easy to do. That's why the spiritual path goes on and on and on, because it's an ongoing challenge. But that's really what it boils down to. How do I let go of my fear in order to live in love?